see it's getting darker and darker, and there's just no way right now for these drivers to know exactly what's going to happen.
These guys are going to have to be really, really careful and tiptoe around the track until it's either
and not even 10 minutes into this race, and I feel like we've got enough strategy going on for a whole event, but still a long, long way to go.
There's Yellowstone, there's Yosemite, but for racing fans and for Grid Life's Elkhart Classic, the destination is Road America, the National Park of Speed.
Free ride in the front of the field here. Look at Emil Tab up the inside for the race lead. We head down to the first corner.
And these guys have no idea what they're coming into. Look at this field. They're 2 wide, 3 wide, a couple places slipping.
Side by side for the race lead. 54, 48 through 3 and 4. Working lap number 60, 110 laps to go. Yusuf Ghali, power move to the bottom of the racetrack, making the short way work. They're going to touch down the hill.
This will be a great run for Fuller here.
Yes, if we go right off the track in the final quarter, that'll have Fuller get a massive.
Here he comes.
Does he have a look?
Oh, big block here by Sanfilippo. Into the grass goes Ben Fuller for turn 1, and Sanfilippo hangs on. He's loose. No! And he crashes hard in the exit of turn number 2.
Don't try it here, boys. They're going to do it. Gritsko backside. They touch. They're going to crash. Gritsko going to slam the attenuator hard into the wall. And Jared Tesson hits him as well.
And big damage on these cars. That's a huge
Number 4, people are struggling for grip, going out of every single lane, trying to make a run. It's getting really insane.
Powered by AWS for the Intercontinental GT Challenge, powered by Pirelli at the Indianapolis 8-hour. We are 7 hours and 18 minutes into this 8-hour event.
John Miller way deep on the brakes to the inside of turn number 1 and 2. The spin, the 3 car gets turned around in front of the car.
James Houghton looking for a place to go, but he's got Austin Cobb to the inside. Into the gap behind. I think that's about 15th or 16th spot as they come out of turn 3. Big slide for this.
Getting a run. He's got it. Going to be a drag racing line. Final corner. Checkered flag waving. Here they come. At Virginia National Raceway. To the line. Thompson, Darling, door to door, banging doors, fender to fender. I can't believe what we just saw.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're here at a track that needs no further introduction. We're here at Circuit Spa-Francorchamps here in Belgium. And after some pretty solid racing in the Super Trofeo race, looking forward to see the Prototype Challenge drivers getting ready to get underway here with some high downforce machinery here at some very high downforce corners. Some might argue it's a recipe for disaster, but I think it's a recipe made in heaven as we get ready to go down trackside. But before we do, let's take a look at the track that we were at tonight. Very famous layout, not really much introduction for most of its corners, but you head down the start-finish straight into La Source, a 180-degree hairpin. Very tight, especially on the opening lap. And then after that, you have drivers flying down towards El Rouge and Raidillon, and then flying down the Camel straight into the Combs. You can expect a lot of passing opportunities down at that particular section of track. Flying on through a few more corners, then heading down to the left-hander that is Poulin. You're going to be expecting these drivers to be completely on the, not on the binders, but giving it their all here, flying through that corner at near full tilt, heading down into Campus, and then to Stavelot, and then another run down through Blanchimont. That's where these guys are really going to test their bravery, as they're potentially going to go side by side into another heavy braking zone that is the bus stop, and that will complete a lap here at Spa-Francorchamps. It's Finney Nakuna here with Eric Bickney. And Eric, I'm glad to have you in the booth with me. Yeah, indeed, round number 9 of 10, penultimate race of the season for these drivers in the SCRS LazyRocket Prototype Challenge. And we'll head down trackside here as we have qualifying underway. Drivers already out on the track, and most of them already putting down some times. Notably at the top of the charts, the 67 of Syandra, not an unfamiliar sight here. currently halfway through the lap, just coming out of Pouin and working his way on through. But yeah, I think probably made a mistake. Had to try to save the car, probably lost a lot of time in the process. I definitely expect to see DJ up inside the top 5. If not, I will be quite surprised. How about Anthony Montello? Great time for him. 4th place, and definitely has been a driver to excel with high downforce machinery. I think it's probably one of his best qualifying efforts of the season so far. Yeah, normally looking Carter Cunningham just won the Super Trofeo race a few moments ago. Already back at the top of the board, up in 3rd place at the moment. Mo Islam, organizational teammate, back in 4th for him in the 206 car. Also, Colin Dana, good qualifying effort for him. I think qualifying has been probably, it's probably a weak point for the 578. It's one of the highest positions I've seen him in for most of this season. Looking at DJ Alessandrini, his last lap through was not a good time. This is his final chance. He's not going to have another run once he gets to the line. He's not going to be able to complete another lap. That's going to be it for him. So this is gonna have to count for him.
Getting a 1x and ruined his lap time, but here we'll see as he comes across the line where he falls.
Across the line for DJ Alessandrini, up into 5th. That's more like it for DJ, and that's going to be it. That's going to be the only chance he's getting. He's going to pull off the side of the track for him. Inside the top 5 will be enough for him. Although he's 2nd behind Cyandra. I imagine there's probably some more speed in that 3, but you have to be so careful here at this track because of the off tracks. They're so easy to get, considering you're riding a lot of the curbing and qualifying at least. In the race, is probably not a big of a deal, but in qualifying, it's definitely, it's a matter of, getting his time in and then being all the way back around 20th for the start of the race.
Yeah, it's qualifying here can be tricky when you don't get that 1x, but I expect more speed out of that car once we drop the green flag. But he is going to have to make sure he doesn't let the likes of Andra and Darling get too far out ahead. But as we've seen, Andra and Darling, even though they're teammates, they like to have fun and race each other pretty hard. So this could be everything we need to see very close, good competitive racing for the full 15 minutes for this first race.
Jackson Roller just squeezing into time near the end of qualifying, will be up into 15th place. Nothing more for the 98 machine as we get ready for grinning in just a few moments. And no invert for the start of this race. We do have 2 races on book. And then when we head into race 2, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, it's a top 16 invert? Yes, okay.
16.
Glad I still remember something for that.
So yeah, we'll keep an eye on who's running in 16th as we get closer to the end of the season. End of the race, and take a look at who will be starting up front for race 2, the longer of the 2 races that we'll see a pit stop. But this first race is a sprint, 15 minutes. Put everything out that you can, get the elbows out, and just go racing hard as you can. There's we'll see what happens over here and what unfolds in this first 15-minute race.
Yeah, and we got Syandra, Paul Darling starting in the front row with Carter Cunning and Mo Islam in row number 2. Back in row number 3, DJ Alessandrini, Anthony Montello starting 5th and 6th place with Colin Daner in 7th and Matt Waldblum in 8th.
Waldblum and Alessandrini going to look to stay far away from each other as you have Corey Bunch starting in the 9th position, Ryan Ford starting in the 10th position, Dominic Dornenberg will roll off 11th with Drew Lidke in 12th.
Yeah, we got Sarah Tessam sitting in the 72 car next to Ryan Caldwell in the 144, Jackson Robert in the 98 and 15th with Morelli in the 095 in 16th place.
17th, we'll see Brian Sabelski, and on his outside is going to be Cody Meadows. Then Eric Brown and Derek Rolleville make up the next row.
Yeah, and I don't think I see Kyle Lamb. He was entered for this race. I don't see him on the track at the moment. We'll see if he jumps in last second. Same thing with Andrew Mickey and Devin Bosch going to be rounding out your field of 23 drivers here as we just ending the closing stages of gridding. Let's want to take a look at the weather here for these drivers. Pretty cool in the air and pretty cool on the track, 72 and 77 degrees respectively, so this guy's got a pretty solid amount of grip to work with.
Yeah, shouldn't have any problems with the weather wreaking havoc with these cars. Perfect conditions for these cars to get the performance that you want out of them. Got 3 almost identical looking blue cars rolling off the front of the field here, and very quick pace lap. They start just on the other side of the bus stop chicane. So as they come out of this final chicane, I expect that there's going to be no time wasted in getting under green.
Indeed here. And we saw Ryan Florida got off to a great start in Super Trofeo. We'll see if it's a similar story for the leaders here. Coming out of the final corner of the bus stop. Slow pace to the line. And we're green. Ooh, and a slight checkup here at the line. Now we're finally green here for SCAR's LazyRocket Prototype Challenge.
Alessandrini has gone to the front from the 5th starting position. Now he goes a little bit wide and has Andra and Cunningham challenging again with Darling falling behind. That was a weird start, late start, not what you would have expected with the control of the start of the race before you even get through that chicane. But here we go, as this is going to be a pile of LMP2s heading into Lacombe? Is that the name of it?
Yep, into Lacombe's for the first time as you see them going 3 wide for just a second. Carter Cunningham was trying to look up the inside, can't quite get it done. DJ Alessandrini trying to take over second, but Cy Andrew going to remain at the top. Not quite. Still Alessandrini trying to charge. Now Paul Darling making a move on the outside lane.
Be very clear about the championship situation here as we have Paul Darling and Carter Cunningham are the top 2 in the standings, separated by not all that much. So we you got to keep an eye out on how those 2 cars do. But DJ Alessandrini, Cy Andrew are 3rd and 4th in the championship, and depending how, as we were mentioning with Super Trofeo, depending on how the point situations and drops work out, this could be pretty close for car battle for the championship.
Yeah, very close at the top of the standings, as you mentioned here. Well, amongst our top 4 drivers here. Not surprised there. Ooh, as you see Paul Darling get a little slidey over the curbs. And I've been seeing a few drivers get
around.
That's Brian Chabelski, I think. Yeah. No, Eric Brown. No, Sarah Tessam, sorry. Was the driver that went around in similar spot to where she went off in the Super Trofeo race. I'll be at the exit of this corner and just not able to catch a break, unfortunately.
Yeah, not sure what
just got loose.
Yeah, it's a little bit on the gas, I guess a little bit too much, but like relatively clean opening.
Oh, Alessandrini got to loop it around.
Taking out, is it Darling or
I think it was Carter Cunningham that he spun in front, and Spa has not been kind to the 3 machine so far. We'll have a look. We just caught the end of that, but this is coming in to the bus stop chicane. I thought that Alessandrini had it in there just a little bit too hot. Tried to corner it in and around she went.
Cunningham did make a little bit of contact. We'll have to keep an eye out and see if that hurts his car any.
For Alessandrini, you can see the field already racing up through El Rouge and Radion as he's all the way back in 14th place, starting up in 5th, and a very promising start as well. But now going to have to find himself driving back up to the front And he thought he would probably only have to do that in race number 2, but now has to get his hands dirty in race number 1. It's a 2-car breakaway for the teammates up in front. 1-2, Darling and Andra. Carter Cunning are holding on from a charge from Colin Daner in 4th place and Mo Islam in 5th.
Cunningham is going to be doing all he can to try to get back up to the top 2, draft his way back up there. What he needs to hope for is that Darling and Andrew decide to start racing each other like they have in the past, and he can gain some ground and make himself part of that battle. But back in the pack, Morelli just takes the spot away from Drew Lidke going into Puhal.
Yeah, and a little bit of a train forming up behind these guys. Next train is behind Dominic Dornberg, and now even Morelli's got Lidke and Plord right in behind, with a little bit of a lockup from the car in front as well. I think that was Corey Bunch, who, if I'm not mistaken, is the AM Cup leader at the moment, ahead of Plord and Caldwell.
He was indeed, and he's been at the top. He's even mentioned he was a little bit surprised to still be at the top, but we'll see how he does here tonight. And hold on, and then this is what Carter wants to see. It's Andra and Darling side by side through the kink, headed to the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, until these guys go like this at Road Atlanta, continuing it yet again here at Spa. You think the teammates want to get single file breakaway from anyone else? No, they want to put on the show. They want to get their hands dirty and race here. As we got 6 laps to go this time by, and again, as you mentioned, Carter Cunningham, he's loving it. This is going to be his chance to try to catch back up to these two.
We've got to hope that they battle even harder, but he's also got to worry about the gap to the cars behind of Colin Daner and Mo Islam. He's got to try to break away from them to make sure that they're not slowing him up by trying to attack him.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, Carter Cunningham did get some nose damage to that car. I was trying to take a look at it. It didn't quite look like he had damage, but appearances may be deceiving. Trying to look at his top speed. Yeah, he's definitely lacking out on that. Is Cy Andrew actually working past Paul Darling at the moment? It looks like he might be a mile or two per hour slower than the leaders up in front, so I think that might be a big concern for Cunningham, especially when you rely on a lot of straight line speed on a track like this. That's not going to help catch back up.
Yeah, there's just a weird scenario where he makes a little bit of contact, and sometimes iRacing will not penalize you all that much for it, but I think Caldwell goes around in the back here after making contact with the car ahead.
And it's Caldwell. We were just talking about him. 3rd place in the AMP Cup is going to find him looped around in Malmedy. Or sorry, Bruxelles, I think is that corner. This is entering Malmedy, who ended up getting into the back of, I think that is Drew Lidke, and went around off of Ryan Plord.
Looked like Lidke got in just a little bit tight into the corner, hit the curbing, and was slower in the middle of the corner than anyone would have been expecting, and just the reaction to that caused a little bit of contact and the 144 to go around. Unfortunate for Caldwell getting caught up.
Derek Rovald is running in 13th place at the moment, right in front of the Red Bull of DJ Alessandrini. Climbed his way back up into 12th. And still making a charge forward. Rovald trying to follow him in tow after starting in 20th place up into 13th. Really good climb forward for the 38. Back up front as the top 2 still trying to chase away from everyone else in behind. Dominic Dornberg and Anthony Montello running 6th and 7th at the moment.
Yeah, Montello was the fastest qualifying of the AM drivers, but is now fallen behind both Daner and Dornenberg here in the race so far, lap 4 of 8, so they're just about halfway.
Montello looking to get a really nice run there. He's going to go side by side with Dornberg down the straight. You'll see up ahead Colin Daner going toe to toe with Mo Islam. He's going to have to back out, back with Montello. He's going to get the spot on Dornberg. Oh no, he gets loose. Oh, I heard a little bit of off throttle from him, and that's never a good sign for this car. I think maybe just cut the curve. Trying to see what happened to him. We'll take another look here. This is entering Lacombe's. Oh yeah, mounted up and over the curve. You can hear the RPM jump. Yeah, around he went.
Yep, car just didn't like what it was being asked to do there, and
it was protested. Yeah, I remember it was a big talk when we went to Road Atlanta about not hitting the curbs. There's a lot of curbs you can mount there, Same thing here. A lot of curbs you can mount in here, but don't want to mount up on all of them because it just upsets the car way too much. And the easy way is to get spun around, and for Montello all the way back in 18th after running in the top 10. And a really good qualifying effort as well.
Got the 7 car of Devin Bosch back here sliding around.
He's got to deal with Eric Brown and Matt Waldblum.
Really weird to see the car sliding around the way that it was, but sometimes you don't necessarily think of these cars as something you have to power slide, but
whoa! Contact on the straightaway and around. Eric Brown goes hard into the wall, and he's going to be done with that damage.
What even? Was there contact?
Yeah, there was contact there off the nose of, that was Matt Waldblum that ended up hitting him.
I think that was a little bit of a misjudgment there on how much space he had to try to make that move happen. So that was not the best move by Waldblum there.
Yeah, and again, with Wallstrom, you want to carry a lot of speed heading through there, as you mentioned, just a miscalculation. Thought he could go left, right in time to avoid a disaster, but unfortunately wasn't the case. Here's Daner finally able to execute the move on Mo Islam back in behind. It looks like, I think, Morelli was able to make his way on through Corey Bunch. Move up a spot, and Daner actually lost the spot back to Mo Islam. Here's how he managed to, sent it in, wow, sent it in very hard into Lacombe's and just lost a lot of that speed.
Yeah, Islam able to get the move done on the outside. Very brave move there.
So Islam going to stay ahead yet again on the 578. He's going to have to try yet again. And as we look at the top two, nothing much has changed between them, still running, and the top two very close together.
They're consistently dropping Cunningham too, so nothing is really falling Cunningham's way here. He's got to get up there, find a way to battle, and take points away from Paul Darling here.
Yeah, and again, Paul Darling is the leader heading into this race. Then 13 points behind is Carter Cunningham, with DJ Alessandrini quite a few more points in behind. I think 41. If I'm doing my math right, you see these guys go almost side by side into the bus stop chicane. And then Syedge pretty far out, almost, I think, go to the 70, about 70 some odd points behind Darling. So he's pretty much out of the loop at the moment for the championship. Really, it's amongst the top three. And with Alessandrini struggling, he's only going to be further in a hole.
Yeah, Alessandrini, I think championship-wise, probably doesn't have much in it at this point. But running 11th right now, he's set up for a pretty good position to start race 2 in. That could go a long way into getting him a race win there later when we get to race 2.
Side by side through El Rouge. Woohoo! That was a little bit close for comfort there.
That had me puckered up.
Take a look at the from the roll bar. Oh. Playing with inches, full tilt through a corner at 150 miles an hour. Playing with fire.
Move.
These guys continuing in file, and it finally looks like Colin Daner is able to break past Mo Islam, but with Islam's pace, I can't imagine this battle is done quite yet. Driver's now working through Pouen. And for Daner, I want to say if he finishes here, I feel like this is probably one of the highest finishes he's had all season, if I'm not mistaken.
Based on pure memory, I believe so. I don't think we've seen him run and get a finish this well so far.
Yeah, I think he's had like a few. I think he's had a few finishes inside the top 10. I don't quite remember seeing him, at least in the races I covered, finish inside the top 5. But a very good run regardless for the 578. Actually starting to put a gap back on Mo Islam. A second now is the gap between them.
He has 1 top 5 on the season, does Colin Daner, and 5 top 10. So he's definitely been a top 10 competitor very frequently, but top 5 has been eluded him a lot more than it did in previous seasons as he overruns the bus stop a little bit here, and that's going to give Islam an opportunity. Is that Islam behind him?
Yep, that is Islam behind him on the attack now onto the front straightaway and now into La Source. Ism going to throw it in hard around the outside. He's going to overshoot the corner a little bit. Might have a chance of a runoff. No, and Daner's going to break his way on through, but now it's going to be a sitting duck. And this is what I love. This back and forth at Spa is awesome to watch. These guys can make it past one corner and then down, essentially taking it like a straightaway as they head up now to the Camel Straight. There's now a sitting duck here. Moislam going to get a huge run in behind. And Daner going to go to the inside defensive. And they're going to continue side by side here. And Daner,
so difficult to make this work.
Oh, Daner trying to do the switchback as they go on through the next part of the complex. Can't quite get it done. Daner with a slight runoff. He's thinking. You can see him thinking behind the wheel of making a move, but couldn't quite set up for him. Behind us, so these guys having a bit of a spout for position is Litke, Bunch, Morelli, and Plord from 7th through 10th place. Not too far behind there is DJ Alessandrini. To look at lap and a half to try to get through 4 of these guys that he's got directly in front of him. That's a tough thing to pull off.
Yeah, so that was really good racing there we saw, and I think overall it's been a pretty clean race, and I think you're seeing exactly the kind of racing that these cars and this track can provide with the multiple opportunities for crossovers and switchbacks and all of that, as we see Alessandrini coming up on a group of cars that anybody else, I would say, he might only be able to get a couple, but it's DJ Alessandrini in that car in number 3 that he's got a good opportunity to maybe even get all of them by the time they come to the checkered flag.
Yeah, well, Ryan Plord was hanging it out through Campus and Stavlo. That car was sliding on the back wheels, which is, again, something I'm quite surprised to see with this car. But look, he's going to still hold on to it. But Alessandrini now inside the top 10, out looking at the rest of those guys up ahead here as the leaders taking the white flag. A little bit of a lockup as well as we cut back to our leaders here. Darling Ninja, I imagine, going to put on a bit of a show here.
Yeah, last lap. I'm guessing these guys are going to go all out, side by side through Eau Rouge.
They're going to try to make it work here. Up through the hill they go. Darling ahead of Andra. But not for too long here as they head through. Now the run down to Lacombe. Now you see Darling peeling out to the left side of the track. We'll see that's going to work for him. He's going to have just about a nose ahead of Andra. Can he force Andra out of the corner? Not quite. Still going to give room for his teammate. And there you see Carter Cunningham trying to book it and close up to these two. They're going to almost side pod each other. Now heading down to the hairpin.
He's gained a second so far on this lap because of how much these guys have been side by side, but I don't think they're gonna risk losing out on the top 2 positions too badly here. So I think they'll be smart about how they handle the second half of this lap, but we'll see what happens.
Darling just kind of looking to finish ahead of his teammate here, just to get a few more points on the man that's chasing him down, not only on the racetrack but in the points. That is Carter Cunningham sitting in 3rd place, and he's still trying to check these guys down here. He's got one major opportunity coming up, and that's the run down to Blanchimont and the final chicane.
I think he's just going to do what he can to get as close as possible to make it a last final
I think
attempt.
a little bit of a mistake from Andrew here that's going to cost him some time. Here comes Darling chasing him down.
We'll see how much this draft works in Paul Darling's favor. He's going to be there. He's going to have the opportunity. It's just, will he get it done?
Yeah, will he be able to execute it? And specifically, where is he going to go? Is he going to go left, going to go right? Andrew going to defend on the right-hand side of the track. Darling going to look to the left here, go deep on the brakes for the final time. Coming to the checker flag, a little bit of a lockup from the 67 of Andrew. Going to park the bus in the bus stop. Very fitting for these. It's a drag race to the line, side by side at the line, and it's going to be Andrew over Paul Darling with Carter Cunningham in tow in 3rd. 53 thousandths of a second between those two. You typically don't see photo finishes at Spa, but that was a very close one.
Yeah, it was a really good finish there. Very smartly driven by both of them. Didn't risk too much. Carter Cunningham comes home 3rd, minimizing the damage done in the points. Mo Islam 4th, Colin Daner 5th, Dominic Dornenberg finishes 6th, Drew Lidke 7th, Nicholas Morelli 8th, your AM points leader Corey Bunchin 9th, and DJ Alessandrini comes home 10th.
Unless we can get a replay of that finish here from a slightly better camera angle. I'm hoping this one is correct. I think this one will sort it out. Here you see run to the line. Right there. About half a car length. But some great stuff nonetheless with these drivers. We'll see if we can get some time to look at our race results here really quick. Syandra up in top by, again, a very small margin of victory over his fellow teammate. These guys showing that they're not afraid to stick it out, get the job done. And then looking back, Carter Cunningham in third, trying to look at some other standout finishes. Drew Lidke in seventh, Pirelli in eighth, Alessandrini just rounding out your top 10. And I think looking at the second page of results, Ryan Florida in 11th. And also we saw Brian Shabalski in 18th and Ryan Caldwell back in 19th. That's not going to help for his championship ambitions going into the next few races.
No, but it looks like Anthony Montello is going to be starting on pole for your second race here. So, and Sarah Tessum in second. So those two are definitely going to be looking to make better on the opportunities they've had tonight.
And with that, we're going to cut for just a small little break because I think we're going to need it after how entertaining race one was. Looking forward to seeing what race 2 has in store. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. You're getting ready for race number 2 here in just a little bit after some thrilling action that happened in race number 1. These guys were battling all over the track. It's kind of hard to keep track of it at one point. We're getting ready for race number 2, Eric.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, this is the inverted field, so we have the 16th place finisher, Anthony Montello, leading the field to the green. That's going to change things up for the way that this race looks like it's going to play out. Always the race that runs the risk of more carnage and more action, but hopefully we're able to get as clean a race as we just had in those 15 minutes for this full 40.
Yeah, indeed, and as you mentioned, it's Montello up at the top of this, and this is really going to be intriguing. I'm hoping he's going to grid. He's one of the last few drivers to jump onto the grid in the number 24 machine. After a great start, had that mistake, and there he is getting on the grid, so he's going to be starting on pole. Had a great start, was running up in 6th, so this car is definitely one that has pace there. Tessim, I think, is looking for some redemption for tonight overall. Looking to see if she can get that chance of redemption with Matt Waldom, Cody Meadows, and Derek Roble, your top 5 some notable drivers. DJ Alcindrini starting in 7th place is kind of going to benefit, ironically, from what happened earlier. He's going to be the highest of his main competitors, being Carter Cunningham, Paul Darling, and Cyandra starting back 14th, 15th, and 16th, respectively.
Yeah, so we'll see how much ground they can make up over this first lap, but they've also got to gonna have to worry about the avoiding potential carnage out there. So we'll see how things go as they're coming through the bus stop chicane to come to the green flag for the final time tonight at Spa.
And here they go, coming out of the final corner. And here we go on the gas, and we are green here at Spa for Prototype Challenge race number 2. The run down to La Source, Montello leading them down. Sarah Tessim going to throw it on the outside. Big run for a lot of the drivers in the outside lane going on through La Source for the first time. Then it's the run down to El Rouge, and it's side by side up for the lead. We'll see, are they going to be able to hold it? Who's going to yield in this situation? Tessim knows that she's got a good chance of the lead. He's going to fight for it, but Montello's going to throw it up and take the lead for now. They're still side by side down the Kemmel Straight.
Question is, did Tessim get a slowdown for cutting the corner a bit too much, or did she escape it? But here we go with Wallbaum now with the lead down into Lacombe.
And going to take it. Oh, and Montello gets hit from behind from Sarah Tessim, goes flying off the track, and a great run looking to be disastrous already through the first few corners, but Wallbaum going to take the lead. And some great stuff in behind. Ryan Plord sitting in 3rd. DJ Alessandrini already up into 4th, with Robo Morelli in behind 5th and 6th. Tessim sitting in 2nd now, trying to chase back down Matt Wallbaum, but Wallbaum we know has got some pretty solid pace. A spin.
Morelli around.
Spin from Morelli, as we were just mentioned. Unfortunately, he's going to drop down the order back to the tail end of the order, where our other competitors, how about Car Cunning, or I don't know how he manages to do it every single time, but already up into 8th place.
And where are Cyandra, Paul Darling? They're right behind him. Oh no, they've only gained a couple spots actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see them anywhere near Carter Cunningham, so Guard has been able to fly up through the order. As you see, an aggressive move in behind that is Roble trying to make a move on Plord. Colin Daner within inches from the quarter of Roble's card here as they get the run down to Blanchimont. A little bit of a flash of the headlights there from Daner. Here comes now Corey Bunch, your AM standings leader into tonight. Gonna try to take it on through. He's got Carter Cunningham behind. Carter looking to gain one more spot here heading into the bus stop chicane. Gonna peel out to the left side of the track.
Andra and Darling seem almost acting as one car trying to get through the field here as Cody Meadows. I'm not sure what happened. He just drove off track. He had made the slightest contact with the wall and it kind of shot his car. So I'm not really sure what happened there or why.
Yeah, right in the sandwich between Paul Darling and Cyandra. Not sure if he got in too hot. Oh yeah, definitely got it way too hot. Blew by the final corner, which is not too bad. And oh, whoa!
Yeah, I don't understand how that happened. But
iRacing physics for you in a nutshell right there. Meadows is going to be down. That's huge because, again, the championship leader coming into... Sorry, not championship leader. I think he was running pretty high up, if I'm not mistaken. No, I was just confusing him with Corey Bunch. Apologies for that. But Matt Wallbaum up in the top. Sarah Tessim chasing down Alessandrini, looking like he might have a chance at some clean air here.
yeah, Alessandrini's in the perfect spot to get up there, take the lead, and kind of run away with this one. But Carter Cunningham is trying hard from behind, and Darling and Andra still outside the top 10 at this point.
Yeah, it's been amazing in comparison how many spaces Carter Cunningham has made up is not too terribly far from Allison Green. They can see just half a straightaway as he's now in behind, calling Dana, Ryan Plort, and Rovold here as they're all nose to tail heading through Poulon.
Like Nicholas Morelli was black flagged for something. Usually that means he was at fault for a pretty aggressive incident there. So not sure what happened there, as he had already been around once.
Yeah, just gone from bad to worse for Morelli. And there's Corey Bunch, your actual AM Cup leader. Started in 8th, running in 8th at the moment ahead of Drew Lidke, and some side-by-side action behind. Cy Andra and Paul Darling working their way through the field. Ooh, and even was on an aggressive move there, looking to the inside. Everyone vying for as many spots as possible. And Carter Cunningham now trying to look. Whoa, he's going to tap Colin Dana around. He goes flying into the bus stop. And Carter Cunningham is still trying to get the car woe down. Bunch looking at making a move. Can't quite get it done, but that misjudgment from Cunningham, it's going to send Dana flying around.
Yeah, take a look and see if we can tell if there's blame to be placed. Looks like Dana may have just been starting to get on the brakes and just a split second before Carter was.
Yeah, and you can hear as soon as he saw Dana check up, he tried to get on the brakes, but that closing rate, it's extremely close. As you see now, Carter Cunningham going to continue on looking at Ryan Plort now down the Kemmel straight. Run for 5th position as he's making his hunt up through the field. Side by side here, we'll see Plort will yield, or will continue the fight. He will indeed give it up to Carter Cunningham. Corey Bunch trying to deal with Drew Lidke in behind, who's trying to gain 1 spot. And there you see, not too far behind is Syandra and Paul Darling.
Really surprised at how much time they're taking to get through the field. I'm not sure if it's just the opportunities haven't presented themselves in a safe manner, or if they're just they think that they've got the time to take it easy and still come out of here racing for podium positions.
Yeah, I mean, really the big thing, I mean, Syandra is not completely out of the points, but is far out from being a major factor for really, it's really up to Paul Darling. It's just making sure he can manage his gap down to Carter Cunningham, and he finished ahead of Carter by 1 position in the last race. Is looking a few positions behind this race, so it has some points to give up, but at the same time, you don't want to give up every single point because it's only going to make you leave for some more work having to get done next week in the final round. You see Andrew getting a run on Lidke.
Close the door there.
And I have another shot here. Gonna peek out to the right-hand side. Not close on this occasion. Oh, and the teammates!
Darling takes out his teammate.
Teammates getting into each other. Andrew around. Darling is still going in the right direction, but that's you typically don't see too many mistakes from Paul Darling, but here is one rare occasion.
Take a look at this.
Just missed the braking zone by a couple of feet, but that's all the difference. Wow, somehow avoided from hitting Lidke as well.
Yeah, it's a decent gap to the cars ahead too, so it's really hard to not put the blame on him for misjudging that one, as he came from a long way back and still made contact.
Darling sitting in 10th place at the moment. Andra down in 13th. And there you see Darling with the dart out to make a move on Kyle Lamb, who's been finally able to get into the races. Wasn't able to join the Super Trofeo race, but is able to be here in Prototype Challenge, running in 10th place right now. Looking back up to the front, DJ Elson was able to make past Sarah Tessum a few laps ago. Tessum still running strong in 3rd place, with Matt Wallum up in top.
Really impressed with that 3rd place running right now. I know she had the first lap contact with Anthony Montello, which I'm sure is going to be something they'll have to work out between the two of them later after this race concludes. But Tessum able to stick up there in the top 3 still is pretty impressive, and I'm sure she's looking to hold on to this kind of performance for the rest of the night and go out on a high note.
Yeah, I don't recall her finishing it up inside the top 3. I would imagine this will be a first for her. So see if she can hold on here. I think he had a top 3 in Super Trofeo.
So far, she has had only 2 top 10s on the season here in the Prototype Challenge. So this would be a huge result if she can hang on to not even a 3rd place, but even just the top 5 at this point.
There's a decent gap to play with to Derek Roval in behind, and then Carter Cunningham a little bit further back from that. For Carter, I think it's now just a matter of not necessarily chasing up for the win, but just managing that gap and keeping track of Paul Darling, his main competitor, against second in the standings, trying to chase Darling on down. To see Corey Bunch and Ryan Plor get very close together here on the bus stop chicane. And here comes Drew Lidke as well, trying to poke his nose.
Nice battle here in the AM Cup. A bunch of AM drivers running around each other. Corey Bunch trying to... he had a solid night first race. He's having a solid run right now, but I think that even with the point lead that he has in the AM Cup, you kind of, if you have that spot, you kind of want to be one of the better drivers finishing up in one of the top spots of the AM drivers. So I'm sure he's not exactly all that ecstatic about where he's been running, as we see a little bit of connection issues with Flord going down the Kemmel Straight.
And you see Corey Bunch and Plord fighting, and these guys are 1 and 2 in the standings. Bunch with the advantage in the points and is going to get past the 74. Oh, and Plord in the grass as well as Paul Darling makes his way on by. Ooh, and Plord getting very close to the bumper of Darling as well through that corner.
There was contact between Darling and Plord that led to Plord going off track, and if Plord was just trying to repay the favor there.
Let's take a look. I don't think so. Looks like I think Plord just got on the curbs and upset the balance of the car. We've seen that time and time again. Just want to take another look just to make sure. Oh, yeah.
Nope, just the curb upsetting the car there. So all's good there, and Plord just overran the corner and almost made contact in return.
Yeah, looking at Darling.
Got by Corey Bunch pretty easily.
Yeah, but now we'll try to aim his target at Drew Lidke. Will only then be one spot in behind Carter Cunningham. And that's not what Carter wants, as he's trying to chase down Derek Roval up in front for 4th place. And still, even if he catches up to Roval, could still have a shot at getting Sarah Tessum. This is a longer race, being 20 laps, and also with a pit stop for these drivers as well.
I believe we have a battle going on for the overall lead here with Waldbaum and Alessandrini.
Indeed, these guys are very close together.
Caught him.
Yep, it's caught up, and now there's a matter for DJ executing here. First 2 races of the night have not gone DJ's way. We'll see if he can turn around here. Has a really solid shot at getting the win here, but Waldbaum also quite hasn't had a night to remember. Let me see if he can execute here as they head through El Rouge and now up through Réunion. And here comes DJ. Wow, an aggressive move to the inside through the grass. As they're going to be side-by-side drag race down to Lacombe.
A little bit more impatience than I expected, but when you gotta go, you gotta go, and DJ decided it was time to go.
Well, a wise man once said, is if you no longer go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver, and DJ living up to those words, an aggressive move is going to get him the lead.
So he'll try to run away from Waldbaum in 2nd, Tessum in 3rd, Rolleveld 4th, and Cunningham 5th, with Paul Darling just a few seconds behind Cunningham in the 6th position.
Let's see if Sarah can now catch back up to Waldbaum. Maybe it was a shot at 2nd place, but the top 5 slowly converging on one another. We'll see if DJ might break that and might start to break away here. We know he's got some decent pace in that machine, but looking back, here's Roveld and Carter Cunningham, AOD Blue, if I'm not mistaken, the AOD Blue teammates.
Yep, they're both on the same team in this here series, and just kind of running together, probably just working together, not slowing each other up at this point to try to get up to the podium positions.
Rollo started in 5th for this race, currently running in 4th. His teammate charging him on him very quickly, having to be a little bit patient here through Blanchemont. You can see how close quarters they are. And Carter actually not able to get a lane. No, is going to have to be stuck in behind his teammate into the chicane.
You can tell them apart by the wheel rims. It looks like Rolleveld has the yellow rims on his car, and
Waldbaum around.
Waldbaum's gone around. Was that contact with Tessum, or did she just get caught up trying to avoid him?
I can't imagine that she did. I feel like there was some decent space, but...
Oh yeah, there was a huge gap between the two, so Waldbaum must have outbraked himself.
Oh
Here.
yeah. I think just downshifted wrong and
Yeah, that has all the makings of just downshifting at the wrong spot or too quickly and getting the engine out of sorts.
Oh, here we go. 2 for 1 for Carter Cunningham. Was able to get past Waldblum after he spun. Actually, even
That's
past...
almost in the back of Rolleveld there.
Yeah, and was able to get past Rolleveld as well. So Carter
Ford
Cunningham...
and Lidke side by side sliding through Lacombe. That was entertaining.
Take a look at that. A lot of action going on the track at the moment. Here's a replay of that battle. There you see that's a 67 of Cy Andra up ahead, currently in 6th place.
See, Ford just battles back here, and Lidke having to keep it tight, slide to the back end of the car, but is able to complete the path. So we'll see what kind of pace Carter Cunningham has for DJ Alessandrini. Now, Cunningham has been, let's take a look, has been probably the most consistent driver, one of the most consistent drivers in the series, with 2 wins, 11 podium finishes, 12 top 5s, and 14 top 10s. The only person who comes close to the podiums, top 5s, and top 10s is the point leader Paul Darling, where Carter Cunningham just fails a little bit in comparison with the points is he's got 5 less wins on the season than Paul Darling, and that's what's making the difference in the championship as Tessum goes off wide in the final corner after battling with Rolleveld.
Yeah, I think might have to give up some time here, pulling off the left-hand side of the track. But oh, even Rolleveld making a big mistake as well. And you have to give up a lot of time when you blow this chicane. Some might argue a little too much time. Is you have to pretty much give up time all down that straightaway. Oh, and still some problems running wide here. Cy Andra.
I do like the new system, though, that iRacing implemented a while back that gives you the amount of time you have left to give up that time, so you can more efficiently figure out how to give up exactly what you need to give up without giving up anything more.
Hope you like blue cars. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and now 4 as you see Andra trying to make a move.
We got 3 wide going down into Lacombe.
As I imagine you're referring to this group of drivers in behind as they managed to sort themselves out. Didn't even look like they were 3 wide heading down there. I'll head back a little bit further back than that, but this is the intense action that's been going on all night. Kyle Lamb up the middle of Lidke and Plord, trying to make it work, and Lidke threw it in just a little bit harder.
Race isn't going as I expected. I thought the opening was going to be pretty entertaining and then kind of be drawn out in the middle and everything, but the opening, if anything, was a little bit lackluster, and here we are nearing halfway through the race and everything's starting to happen.
I'd argue that it wasn't lackluster. I ran out of breath that first half of the lap because that was amazing to see the leaders side by side till Lacombe, and unfortunately they couldn't continue that on after some contact. But man, was that entertaining! Both races tonight have been absolutely phenomenal. Probably the best races in the series all season long.
We have Mo Islam in the pit lane. I think he's now finished service, and this may be the first glimpses of pit stops we're seeing.
Yeah, taking a look for Mo Islam, pit 1 lap ago. Actually, apparently been in pit lane twice for the 206. He's pretty far behind. So not a particularly good night for the 206. I'm not sure again if that is.
Oh, Drew Lidke around off the front bumper of.
Oh,
Lamb. I'm not sure what happened there, but a big pile up as they were all running very close together. Now those cars look like they were stuck inside each other.
Yeah, let's see what on earth happened here. This is the run down to the final chicane. Oh, looks like Lidke just got loose and nowhere for really most of them to go. Plord got in, and there you can see, I'm not sure who that was that just decided to skip the chicane. I think that was Corey Bunch. And you can see also, I believe, I'm trying to see who that was that went to pit lane, but that was a smart move.
Yeah. It's like, well, never mind all this. I'll just go here.
That was Brian Chabelski that made a smart decision. Track's blocked, might as well just go into pit lane now. So he'll get service to his race car and get back out on the track. And also Corey Bunch of the other drivers just saw him skip the chicane entirely and make his way on through, so he'll be in 7th place. Kyle Lamb in 8th. Look who's been chasing down P2. It's Paul Darling chasing down Carter Cunningham. No matter what Carter can do, you can never quite shake off Paul Darling.
Yeah, it doesn't seem it. I don't think that Carter's really been able to make much ground on Alessandrini either.
No,
so.
in fact, actually looking at the last lap, they were only off each other's times by 1/10 of a second. Which is amazing considering these guys are running just over 2 minutes lap time. To have only a separation of a hundredth a lap, it's pretty impressive. So Darling trying to chase down Carter up front. In fact, Darling ran 3/10 faster than both of them last lap through. So 155 has got some solid pace. And I would say too, at the rate that Darling's catching, might have a shot at even catching back up to DJ.
Yeah, I think pit strategy is also going to play a role as well.
Pit window is definitely open. When will these drivers go in is going to be the big question. We see most of the drivers prefer to just run the tank empty and then just spend less time in the pits and also have a faster car. We'll see when these guys do decide to pit, especially for Paul Darling, if he's going to... I thought he might have wanted to potentially come in, not have to deal with battling Carter Cunning on track, because let's face it, Carter's going to defend that spot with everything he's got. And last lap through, fairly slow lap time for DJO, almost a 2-minute 4 for him. By comparison, Carter Cunning around a 2:03.4. So almost 0.6 of a second faster for 0-2 Carter Cunning, and Darling just ran almost the entire second faster than DJ. So DJ clearly not the raw pace that he normally has on some weekends. So he's still got some pace, but not enough for the three guys chasing him down. And even Syandra, speaking of three drivers, there is Syandra also chasing down Darling and Carter Cunning. So this race is far from over as they're just about halfway through.
Yeah, this is closing up towards the top, and I think hopefully, with any luck, we'll just get these top four drivers getting closer together as the race goes on. Yeah, we saw Alessandrini with a pretty slow lap last time by. It's probably just a mistake somewhere, and hopefully we'll rebound from that from his perspective. But these two behind are hoping that that's a sign of things to come, and they'll be able to reel in the leader for a potential win for themselves.
Yeah, and I mean with DJ, ooh, Carter threw it in there. It looked like the back end was sliding out a little bit. But despite that, here comes Paul Darling up in behind. He's got a lot of slipstream to play with, and I'm curious to see what Carter's going to have up his sleeve, or if he's just going to even let Darling on by. Maybe try to catch his, ride his coattails. We'll have to see what he's got planned. It's a big chase game for these drivers to see who's going to end up on top, especially between these two, really where the big battle in the points is. Darling not able to find a way on through. Carter Cunning will stay in front.
Huge implications for championship if Carter can potentially force Paul Darling into some kind of a mistake here, and I think that's kind of the hope that he's got to do. Is he's not the type of driver to go out of his way to do anything dirty or out of sorts here, but he's definitely going to do what he can to make Darling have to work as hard as possible and see what happens and what comes of it. But as they're racing each other, you see teammate to Paul Darling, Syandra, start closing in from behind, and now they are side by side down the Kemmel Straight heading toward Lacombe. Who's going to have the advantage? And Darling gets it completed before they get there.
I really wish these guys did not have old blue cars, because it's very hard to tell them apart, and it's been a problem all season long. Because they've got a near identical shade of blue as well. It's even two different. It's not even like a light blue.
And both have a similar scheme in terms of the black and how it kind of swoops across the car too. So yeah, they kind of all look like, from a distance, look like they could be teammates.
Yeah, so Paul Darling ahead of Carter Cunninger, ahead of Syandra, second, third, and fourth, and all of them are chasing the man up in front, DJ Alessandrini. The gap actually, I think, expanded a little bit last time by, but with Darling up in front, I have a feeling we're going to see that close down. And even for Syandra to put in an absolute flyer of a lap, the only driver I think we've seen all night, at least in the race session, set a time below a 2.3. He ran a 2:02.215. No driver has come even close to that. No driver has been below a 2:03 so far. So Andra flying through, and he's already caught up to Carter Cunningham. He's now got a chance of passing him.
Yeah, there's going to be two positions lost, it looks like, on the lap for Carter. Not what he was looking for, as we'll see if he decides to come to pit lane this time by and get the rest of the fuel he'll need to make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, he's got a decision to make here. Either, pit, get yourself in some clean air, or stay in the draft and ride the coattails of these guys who are faster. And I would say the second is probably the smart decision, as you see him stay out on track. Oh, actually, sorry. One of them, I think. Nope. What? Oh, sorry. I was riding on the wrong car. Again, the blue car is confusing me. But none of the leaders have come in yet. The entire top 10 have yet to make their first pit stop. The first driver that has made their first pit stop is here, Dominic Dornberg, running in 11th place. Up and actually scratched that. Corey Bunch has elected to make a trip down on pit lane, and there you see also in the background is Ryan Plort as well.
Looks like the three blue cars are just kind of understanding that the best option is to not lose any more time to Alessandrini. It does look like they're gaining time, to be honest. They're down to just over 3 seconds, and it was a bigger gap before.
Yeah, last lap through, I mean, last lap it was around 3 seconds of gap, but now they're actually gaining some time. It was about 2.8 seconds by the time they got to Lacombe. Now it's down to 2.6. So they are closing in here at a non-insignificant rate. Darling starting to kick into high gear, Andrew in behind. I thought we might have seen Andrew maybe go out in front because it looks like Andrew is probably the stronger of the two teammate cars. I'm trying to remember the name of their team off the top of my head.
Revo Satellite Racing is the team that they're representing here tonight. DJ Alessandrini out here for Speedbox, and Carter Cunning, of course, for AOD Racing Blue.
Gap now 2.4 seconds, and if I'm DJ, well, DJ probably is not sweating. He's probably just looking, if anything, more for a challenge at this point in the race. But this is definitely where, you know, you have a chance of making some mistakes here. You got a bunch of guys closing in behind. That all three of them are arguably faster than you up in front. I don't know what DJ's going to get. Oh, okay, I was going to say, I don't know what DJ's got planned. He's going to plan to go down pit road.
Yeah, and Carter is trying his best to stay on and utilize the draft from the two ahead to ride their momentum towards the front of the field and make himself a part of the battle at the end. But it looks like they're just continuously gaining almost every corner, just a little bit more and a little bit more, and potentially very soon going to drop them from their draft.
I think after this lap, he's going to be effectively out of the draft range, which is not what you want. Yeah, he's not picking up really any speed on these guys up in front. In fact, both of them are running quicker here at the end of the straight. Here's Cyandra working past Paul Darling. He will now take the lead of the race. I think he's going to really just let these guys start battling each other, and that's... You can remember he got really close to the end of race 1, wasn't quite there, but definitely could have been a factor had they started fighting a lot earlier.
Yep, Andra goes to now the lead, but that'll come back to DJ once they come into pit road. And now the question is, how long do these guys decide to run it out?
I can't imagine they can go much longer. I would say maybe about another lap or two. I think for Carter Cundinger, I will be surprised to see if he doesn't come in, because I think he's effectively lost the draft at this point. 1.4 seconds in behind and gaining. So it might be worth for him to come down pit road, try to cover himself off of DJ. Or maybe even just stay out and maybe try to overtake DJ, because I would say he was probably running faster laps than Alessandrini. So that's also another thing too. This is a lot of the things that go through for race car drivers is where you're going to end up, especially after a pit sequence too, where your rival's going to end up after the fact. And if you're actually going to make the pass occur on the track. As you see them approach the chicane LC, any takers down into pit lane. I imagine see the teammates come in at the same time. Indeed, 1, 2, and 3 all coming in.
I'm guessing that's about as far as they could push it.
Yeah, they're the only drivers to yet make a pit stop. Everyone else has come in. So no surprise there. Whereas DJ Alessandrini now coming out of Stadlo, running down to Blanchimont.
Probably keep it on him and see where they come out in relation to him as they exit pit road. Cyandra obviously putting in lightning fast laps all race long. So we'll see how things play out here and if they're able to close the gap even more on DJ.
And DJ did have the lead before he came down into the pits. It's been about 2 laps since he's come on down. And both of them, all 3 of the drivers have now made it out of their stalls, working their way around the source in the inside lane, and have just now exited the pits. And there you're going to see them all 3 right there ahead. Oh, actually not all 3 quite, as you see Carter Cundinger just going to be in behind the number 3.
That's some impressive pace from those Revo satellite cars that they were able to make up all that time and even get out ahead to the extent that they are of DJ after the pit stops. But we'll see if DJ and Carter have an opportunity to work together to come back.
I don't think maybe they're going to be working together so much as battling each other. You ever see Carter Cunningham going to blow on past the number 3 machine? Allison Drini trying to find a fender, find a way around him through Lacombe. Can't quite get it done. It's still hounding the back of Carter Cunningham, looking for a hole in his defense. Can't get it done as Carter Cunningham looks like he's going to clear him for that position.
Yeah, I expect both these battles, if they don't even come together back to form a 4-car battle, I believe that these two battles are going to last for these last 7 laps and be something to keep an eye on and probably swap positions a couple times before all is said and done.
Yeah, we saw these top two put on a show in race number 1. I can't imagine you're going to see anything too much different this time around. It was Cy Andrew that took home the win ahead of Paul Darling by 0.05 of a second at the line. Half a car length here. I imagine that Darling going to want to try to keep as many points as he can ahead of Andrew and especially ahead of Carter Cunningham. Now for Carter, I'm not sure what else he can really do. The two drivers up in front arguably faster than you on raw pace. Do you think he's kind of just a sitting duck and just kind of has to accept defeat, or do you think there's any way that he can get himself back in this race?
Yeah, I think at this point, knowing that the pace of the cars ahead, you just got to run your own laps. Now his focus is obviously now on DJ and battling for this 3rd position. So I think that's where your focus has got to be. Just if you can get 3rd, try to get 3rd and then see what happens ahead of you. As we've already seen the 2 Revo satellite cars come together once already. Who knows what's going to happen between the 2 if they start racing again.
Both these guys side by side through El Rouge. Remember, we saw what happened last time. DJ was side by side with another driver with Wallblom. Both of them ended up in the fence. And DJ just going to slot himself in behind Carter Cunningham as he works his way on through. Now DJ looking to use the draft to his advantage here. Going to pull out way to the left and up in front as well. Cy Andrew and Paul Darling side by side.
So is Cy gonna actually... Oh! Contact just told you this is what was gonna happen.
And it's Darling that goes around, and here comes DJ Alcindrini and Carter Cunningham. And Andrew gonna yield as well to let his teammate get on by, and that's what you call championship implications.
Yeah, and that's one of those situations where Cy must have felt that the blame was on him, and he's the one who was in the wrong there, and he just didn't want to take advantage, so you gave that position back. In the meantime, though, that allowed DJ and Carter to come through for the top 2 positions, and this, I think, is a lot closer battle for Carter to have than to go up against those Revo cars. So we'll see how things go. Suddenly, these 2 find themselves battling for the lead.
This race got a lot more interesting. It was looking like it was just going to be a 2-car battle up in front. As of right now, it's still a 2-car battle up in front. But now, has a chance of being 3 and even back to 4 cars, honestly, with the pace these guys have shown. Syndra not too terribly far in behind. Carter Cunningham running a little bit wide, trying to keep up. That lost him a lot of time.
Yeah, that was a bad corner there for Carter that cost him some time. But he's going to have Syndra on his gearbox in just a couple seconds here, I think.
This is coming down to be a very close finish here at the line. It's going to be 5 laps to go. Here comes Cy Andrew now with the run on Carter Cunningham, trying to make it happen. He was up in front just just really a lap ago. And now has to drive his way back through 2 cars to get back to that spot. And Darling is about 2 seconds behind Andrew, 3.7 seconds back from Alessandrini. A little bit of a lock up from DGC. Carter Cunningham sideways through the source. These guys struggling on the tires. They probably spent at this point. Andrew with the run, looking at being side by side with Carter Cunningham through El Rouge. And it looks like Carter Cunningham is going to yield. Andrew up into 2nd place.
I think he yielded so that he could maybe draft back by him down Kemmel Straight, knowing he didn't want to go through there too wide and lose even more time. This is where you might be thinking, use Syandra to let him get up there, go challenge DJ, and then you could follow him through. But I'll tell you what, I was not expecting this close a battle for the lead this late in the race. As the longer the races are, the more spread apart the field gets. But these top 4, just from the things that have been happening, are all close together once again.
This is going to be a very tasty fight here. 4 cars with equal opportunity of getting the win. You can see even Darling starting to close back in, get the draft as well. I Can't wait to see really any of these four drivers race at the moment. Alessandrini with the advantage up in front, but we've seen the raw pace that Syandra has had. Has run the fastest lap of the race. He actually ran even faster. We saw him run that 202.2, almost ran a 201, ran a 202 flat a few laps ago. So he's still got some pace in the 67. Going a driver off the track. That's the lap car. I think that's Cody Meadows in the 04. Indeed it is. He will stay out of the way of the leaders. Here we go. Andrew with a great run through Blanchimont. They will fly. Andrew with a great run looking to the left-hand side of the track into the chicane. Alessandrini doing an excellent job. Great line through there. Is going to keep the spot. Carter Cunningham trying to get a run back at Andrew.
Got a pretty good run. Is he going to have an opportunity to try to make a braking move on Andrew for second? I don't think so.
He might sit and wait for the back stretch. Or sorry, not the back stretch, but the Kemmel straight.
I think Darling is close enough now that he's going to be getting the draft from all three of them to some extent. And it's going to be a four-car battle under a blanket for these last 4 laps.
Oh, Carter Cunningham got a great run. So did Andrew. Here they go. Actually, Carter Cunningham is going to get there before Andrew gets to Alessandrini. There he goes for a run. He's going to throw it up the middle. We're 3 wide for the lead. And Carter Cunningham going to swing around the outside. Goes from 3rd to 1st and 1 straightaway. Not over yet. DJ still back on the inside. He's going to get pinched though on exit. Loses time on exit. Here comes Syandra trying to squeeze his car in the grass.
That's how you do it. If you don't have the most pace, you show the bigger balls, and that's what Carter did there, getting through those positions for the win or for the lead here. And now he's going to try to run away and hope they start battling behind.
Yeah, now Paul Darling trying to get past his teammate. We saw them make contact last time they were near each other. Matt's going to try to be a little bit more careful. Problem is you can't afford to be careful at this point, considering how close it is and how close these top positions are to each other. You're so close from getting that first place position. And again, Carter is looking at gaining a lot of points in Darling. I'm not sure how many he's going to gain, but that would put them pretty close to not necessarily being a tie, but it'll be a lot closer than it was entering tonight for these two.
Is it me, or do these cars look like they're going faster?
Definitely looks like they're trying a lot more. So we'll see here. They're actually running a lot slower lap times than they were before because they're side by side so much. Looking off the tail of Carter Cunningham. Here comes Syandra with a great run. Has to back out of it.
Oh, DJ has a run on for the lead on Carter now. He's going to try the outside.
Not going to be established alongside enough, and these guys swarming one another here at the line. 3 laps to go.
Unlike what you got to worry about here is that netcode could play a role, so you might not actually physically make contact that we see, but but iRacing may deem it so, and so you just have to take that into account for how close you really want to push it when you're driving this hard for the win of the race this late. But these 4 have proven that they're willing to push those limits.
Yeah, these guys are willing to push to the limit and then some. It's what we've seen so far out of all 4 of these machines here. I'm not cutting to any single battle across the track. This is the closest battle, and it's for the lead. Here we see DJ throw it up. The inside is going to clear Carter Cunningham before they even get to the corner. Fantastic job under brakes for the number 3 Alessandrini. Will get himself back up onto the front spot. If you're Andrew and Darling, what do you plan on doing?
You just gotta, if you have the run, you gotta take it and you gotta try to make it work. So I think it's gonna be hard for any of that to happen until they get back around to the bus stop chicane, barring any mistakes from one of the cars ahead.
Darling not too aggressive on the back of Andrew. Andrew, though, all over the back of Carter Cunningham. Here's they fly on through Puma. Ooh, Carter going to run a little bit wide. He's going to open up the door. Here comes Andrew trying to make a move into the S as they go. He's going to do a switch back to the inside.
I think Carter definitely.
Oh, and Andrew, a big mistake for him. I thought he threw it in there a little bit too deep, and that's going to take him out of the fight.
Yeah, I don't think he's had enough pace to get back up to the front at this rate. And that's what you do if you're Carter. You push the limit and you make them go over it.
You see, threw it right in there. Was trying to clear by the time to get the corner back in, started to slide out. Caught it just a little bit, but I had to go through the grass. So he's effectively out of the fight. We're down to 3. Here's DJ with a slight lead over at Carter Cunningham, and Paul Darling back in it as well.
So Cunningham needs a good couple corners here to get close enough to utilize that draft to get back up to Alessandrini down Kemmel straight. Is he going to be able to do it?
It's going to be tough. Ooh, DJ running a
All
little
three of
bit
them
wide.
just slid off that corner.
Trying to get the power down, struggling to do so. 2 laps to go here through La Source.
Cunningham closed a little bit through the chicane. He might be close enough to take advantage of the draft down Kemmel. 2 laps to go.
Yeah, honestly, Carter's been probably one of the better drivers making it through El Rouge, and Radion's been able to get some fantastic runs going. Right on board with him, see if he can do it yet again. He's also got Darling to worry about in behind.
And this is the perfect length that you want to be back if you're fast enough to make it, because you have the peak speed that you can almost clear him for position before you get to the braking zone.
Here goes Carter. There goes Paul Darling. Darling not going to make it 3 wide, but Carter Cunningham is going to move on the outside, going to clear Alessandrini yet again. Here comes Darling now side by side with Alessandrini, trying to make it work. Can't quite get it done. DJ is going to stay in second place for now.
Now Carter's just hoping, Paul, make the move. Go side by side through one of these corners. Give me a break here. That's what Carter's hoping for. I think if you can definitely tell Carter's the one struggling the most with the car around the track. DJ a little bit less so, and then Paul and Cy have definitely been the class of the field, particularly on lap times. But Carter's got the most work to do, I think, to make his car work the way he needs it. But right now, he finds himself out in front, and that's what matters.
I honestly feel like Carter's going to probably be in a sitting duck here. We saw exchanges for position occur down on Lacombe's last 2 laps. He just saw Carter get past DJ. Before it was DJ getting past Carter. Whoa, as Carter Cunningham gets out onto the painted concrete, goes sideways for a second.
He's saying, to hell with the 1Xs. I need to go.
Oh, I don't think you're counting 1X at this point. If anything, you're completely ignoring them. Here they go, run down to Blanchimont yet again. And this is where I'm going to be interested in seeing what Carter Cunningham is going to do, because when they come out of Les Sources, he's going to be the leader, and he's going to have to find some way to defend from not only DJ, but Darling behind. Actually, here comes DJ with a great run now. Going to throw it up the inside into the chicane. It's going to be DJ ahead by a nose. That's going to hold them all up, and here comes Andrew back in the picture as they're going to all slow each other down. Here we go, white flag in the air. DJ ahead by a car length. Here comes Darling about to throw it up the inside for second place.
All of this is for Cyandra back into the fold.
Indeed it is, and what is he going to do? Here's Darling ahead of Carter Cunningham on the outside. He's going to now fall into third. Final run through El Rouge for tonight. DJ with a slight lead over Darling, over Cunningham, and over Andra. But right off the tail, as it's a bunch of angry hornets in behind him. What do you do if your DJ Alessandrini is going to go to the inside? We're going to probably see them go 3 wide. Here they go into Lacombe, switching back on one another. It's Paul Darling making the run on the outside lane, and he will clear the 3. Slight contact with Carter Cunningham and Andra. Andra going to be off the track and be out of the picture. Here comes Alessandrini a little bit slow. Carter Cunningham going to make a move to the outside.
This is what DJ needed. He got to the lead finally, and now the battling is behind him, and he's putting some distance in between them.
Yeah, we've seen both these drivers slide on their tires quite a bit. They've been costing themselves a lot of space. For Darling, it's just a matter of trying to drive away. Carter Cunningham trying to get past DJ to get to Paul Darling. Darling, I'm not sure if he's got this in the bag or he's still got more to worry about. DJ Alessandrini now trying to get his head down. He's got a few more corners. Then it's that all-important run out of Stavlo to get. Starting to close in here a few inches at a time.
If he have anything, he's going to use up all the runoff that he has, I think, here. And do what he can to try to get close enough to utilize that draft, but I think Darling may be too far ahead.
Yeah, I didn't think DJ probably could have got an ideal exit as he would have liked. For Darling up ahead, it has gone from the front to the back of his pack, and then back to the front again through Blanchimont for the final time and up to the bus stop chicane. It's been an absolute brawl amongst our top 4, but as we work through the final chicane and still some last second dives up in front at least, it's going to be Paul Darling out of the final corner. He will take the win in race number 2. It's going to be DJ Alessandrini in behind for second in a drag race to the line. Still waiting for the results of it, and it looks like it's going to be Cy Andra over Carter Cunningham by 0.03 of a second. Whew. Oh boy.
Well, that was a hell of a battle, all 40 minutes.
Oh, and some side-by-side action here, but these guys just having fun at this point. Oh man. Oh boy. I am out of breath. Oh wait, are we still going? Are we still going for the... Are we still going? I still see them having to complete some laps.
No, I mean, according to my timing and scoring, they finished. I think now they're just trying to prove a point.
Oh yeah, okay, I think they are. Cause sorry, it's showing 20 of 20 on my screen. That means that there's still a lap left to go. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Let's take a look at the results. And still having a little bit more fun as they go into each other. Oh boy! All right, my I have adrenaline pumping through my system as I show these guys over there. You can see Paul Darling with the win ahead of Alex Jr., ahead of Andrew, ahead of Carter Cunning, or Robo finishing back in 5th. Sarah Tesla. We completely ignored the rest of the field the last, I think, 8 or so laps. So a lot of these guys, Kyle Lamb getting into 8th position, Brian Chabelsky rounding out your top 10, also with Ryan Plort in the 74 in 9th. But it was Bunch that's going to finish 2nd in AM and probably extend his lead up near the top of the standings. And then we look on to the second page results. Drew Lidke looking at 11th with Eric Brown in 12th. Also looking at Colin Daner back in 13th. Probably not what he would have wanted.
No, that was definitely not the night Daner wanted after running up front pretty well in the first race. I do want to shout out Sarah Tessum coming home in 6th place as the top AM driver. Best finish probably of the year for her, of the season for her there. So that's a pretty impressive night to have.
Oh man, all right. trying to still gather my breath here for these interviews. And I think first of which we'll take a talk to Cy Andra. Cy, I'm sorry if I sound a little bit out of breath, because that was an absolutely amazing battle amongst you top 4. We saw it all kind of kick off with you making contact with Paul, and walk us through what happened.
Well, Paul and I race each other hard. We're teammates, but we're still racers at heart. I mean, I wanted to pass Paul on track, hence why we pitted together. We didn't stagger our pit stops or anything like that. He jumped me in the pits. I'm still questioning the fuel number he gave me because of that. But yeah, I mean, I think it was just a little bit of he drifted out, I turned in on him. You know, it happens. But honestly, the fight back after that was some of the best racing I've ever had. Yeah,
it really was. Definitely looked like it. For you, Cy, I think you're probably a little bit too far out of the picture. What are your plans for next week? Is it matter just going out there and winning it?
Oh, absolutely. Le Mans is like, it's not my best track, but it's the track I probably have the most time spent at. Just preparing for 24 hours, running 24 hours, that sort of thing. So I want to win that.
Well, definitely looking forward to seeing if you get it done. It's a fantastic race. Congrats on your 3rd place finish.
Thank you.
And now we talk to DJ Alcedrini. And DJ, the first races for tonight, race in Super Trofeo and race number 1 for Prototype Challenge, you can definitely say probably didn't go your way. You had a great start for great starting position for race number 2. Unfortunately, you fell just short of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're all just having fun here in Trofeo. I was just trying to do a hooligan, hand it up to the stream, and it didn't go my way. I still had a bunch of fun before that happened, so that's cool. And I just feel bad that me and Matt got together. I think I expected room, and he expected there to be more existence of track and a little net code mixed in there, and next thing you know, we're crashing into the wall. So it's just an over-aggressive move for me with intentions just to be a hooligan. So, but yeah, the prototype race, like, I mean, I'm not a fan of Spa, so I don't have nearly the amount of time that other people have on this track. And I was learning a bunch, like, toward the second half of that prototype race, just where to carry speed, where to, like, almost, like, look like you blew a corner, but it makes time because you don't get a good exit on the next corner. There's just, like, a lot of weird little intricacies about the track that I'm starting to figure out toward the end of that race. And I'm glad I figured that out because by the time Paul, Cy, and Carter all caught me from my apparently really slow pit stop, it just turned into just a brawl, and that was a lot of fun, just hard racing. I was definitely the slowest in that pack, so to be able to fight those guys and still hang on to something resembling a podium, I'd say that's a win in my book.
Definitely glad you're happy with that, DJ. Congrats on your 2nd place finish. Looking to see how you do next week at Le Mans.
Yep, thanks guys.
And next we got Carter Cunning, and Carter was actually going to ping for you to get into that group. I think you definitely deserve an interview after a fantastic fight. We saw you really be kind of out of it, especially considering you've been trying to chase down Paul Darling. Arguably, this is probably the worst result with him finishing in 1st and you back in 4th, but I think you definitely had I would hope you had a lot of fun with that.
Oh yeah, no, that was that was fun to say the least. You know, it's always a good opportunity when I get to race with those guys, because they are definitely like a step out of my league. So for me to even be like fighting in the points with them is honestly really fun. And then just tonight was honestly a blast. So both Paul and Cy had massive pace. DJ had pretty good pace too. Thankfully I was able to keep up with DJ for the most part. But yeah, I mean, honestly, those last like 5 or so laps, by far some of the most fun I've had in a while on iRacing. And I have to give props to all three of those guys, because we all basically, you know, held our own, and you know, we all just know how to put on a good show.
Absolutely fantastic stuff to watch. I think definitely Paul Darling probably expanded his points lead, although it's still pretty close between you two. I think you're probably going to find yourself in a similar position as you were in Super Trofeo. You're going to be the man chasing going into next week, but I think as you were saying in Super Trofeo, I don't think it's going to change a lot for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, all we can do is hope, really. I had to look at the Super Trofeo points between these two races, and I thought I was a little bit closer to the DJ, but I think I'm going to need another miracle to happen at Le Mans next week. But yeah, definitely here, you know, just got to keep having the consistent finishes and just hoping that something will come my way, like a championship.
Yeah, we'll definitely see if you can get it done, Carter. A fantastic drive, even if it was for 4th place.
Well, thank you.
And last but certainly not least, Paul Darling. And Paul, I can imagine that was probably a very big mix of emotions those last 8 laps. You went from running up top to running a little bit further back, and somehow through it all driving your way back up through the top. Walk us through it.
That was insane. Yeah, on the 3rd lap I got into Psy, because that was completely my bad. The checkup I didn't anticipate, because we're kind of busy chatting away. The next time was just a racing deal. I went out wide, he tried to cut it tight, and then yeah, getting sent to 4th, I was like, okay, gotta really get our head down and hope they fight. And fight they did, and fight everyone did. And I hope that was entertaining to watch, because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely saw it be a lot of fun. You know, looking into next week, you're the man up on top. You actually expanded your points lead out. Not sure by how much. Still have to take a look at that after the points get tallied up. But really, for your strategy for next week, obviously ahead of Carter Cunning, or any plans that you have for trying to just secure this championship for yourself?
Not die, I guess. Le Mans is going to be absolutely insane. Like, Spa's a draft track, Le Mans is another level draft track, so we'll see about next week.
Indeed, definitely looking forward to seeing what you can do, Paul. Congrats on your win, and looking forward to seeing what's going to occur next week at Le Mans.
Yes.
Alright, with that, I think you can say that was into probably one of the best races we've seen, not only for this series, but I would argue on SimTV in general. A 4-car brawl over the last 5 or so laps to the end of that race. I couldn't think of a better finish.
No, I couldn't either. That was a great battle, hell of a battle between the top 4, and just class act all around. As you listen to all of them just talk about that, their focus was the fact that just how fun it was to race that hard and that clean and that close. Have all of the bumps and bangs that they had and all come out of it with smiles and perfectly okay with how everything happened. So that was a lot of fun to watch happen. Great battle, and yeah, it probably will go down as one of the best races in SCAR's history, I think, if you're looking at overall battling for the lead.
Alright, and with that, get a chance to take a breather after this race. Gonna get a glass of water. I think it's gonna be the first thing I do. But if you like that action, I think you're gonna be up for some more. As Paul alluded to, with us heading to Le Mans, we're gonna have even more draft action, and I can wait to see these top 4 duke it out yet again next week. But for now, for the SCAR's LazyRocket Prototype Challenge, my name is Finny Nakuna here with Eric Mickey, and we're gonna be SimTV, and we're gonna be signing out for tonight. Thank you for watching.